What's up, guys? Today we're going to be comparing the LG V60 versus the Note 20 Ultra. So I've been getting a lot of questions about these two phones. So these are two really good, older flagships, but they do have quite a few differences. So let's go ahead and jump in. So one of the biggest things you need to know about this comparison is that the Note 20 Ultra is a tad bit more expensive, typically going for around like $530. The LG V60 is much cheaper. You can find one in very good condition on eBay for like $250, $300 these are going for, so they're very cheap. Alright, so first off, let's go ahead and take a look at the build quality. So these are two very massive phones, as you guys can see. Almost the same height as far as the weight. They're both, they're not super heavy, but they both have that, kind of hefty premium feel to them, which is something that I definitely like here. As far as the design, I think they're both very clean looking phones, really nice looking older flagships here. There is something that you will notice about the hardware. So we do have a headphone jack on the LG V60, stereo speakers, and we do not have a headphone jack on the Note 20 Ultra, but we do have the S Pen. So built-in S Pen you can use to write and do digital artwork, whatever you want to do with it. So that's one of the main differences. We'll go ahead and compare the speakers later, but as far as the hardware, those are two of the biggest differences. They're both glass and metal designs. They're both IP68 dust and water resistant. You do have a much bigger camera bump on the Note 20 Ultra compared to the V60 there. You can see the V60 is almost completely flat. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the display design, because this is also another essential feature here. So the Note 20 Ultra has a slightly bigger display than the V60. It's a 6.9 inch display, and it is a dynamic AMOLED display. It has 120 Hz HDR10 plus. It's 1440p 496 for the PPI, but it can only do the 120 Hz at the 1080p resolution. The V60 is a 6.8 inch display. It's OLED, and it's also a 1080p panel at 395 for the PPI. So one of the things that you'll notice is that the display design, I think, on the Note 20 Ultra looks better. It's got slimmer bezels. It's got the punch hole as opposed to the water drop notch. But the V60 does have a completely flat display, which I know a lot of people prefer, so that could definitely be a bonus for you. So as far as the image quality, you get really nice display on both of these devices here. I don't know why this just went turned all the way down, but the image quality on both of these two phones is very good. Now the V60, even though it does not have a high refresh rate, you can attach a dual screen case to this phone and essentially turn it into two phones, which is something that is really awesome. So that's sort of like the trade-off here. You do have dual screen case capability, but the Note does have that 120 Hz, which you might like, that the silky smooth scrolling feeling and stuff like that. It is very nice. But like I said, on the V60 you do have that dual screen case that you could take advantage of, which you can't do on the Note 20 Ultra. Alright, so let's dive into these specs a little bit more here. The V60, it does have Android 12. It will be scheduled to get the Android 13 update. You do have the Snapdragon 865 Adreno 650, and then the micro SD card support, along with 128 gigs of internal storage, and you also have 8 gigs of RAM. The Note 20 Ultra has Android 12, One UI 4.1, also the Snapdragon 865, micro SD card support, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 12 gigs of RAM. This model is. As far as speed, they are essentially the same. They have the same, chip in them. So as far as like your navigation and stuff like that, or bouncing in and out of applications, everything is extremely fast on both of these phones. So performance-wise, they're pretty much tied here. You won't really notice, too much of a difference here as far as speed goes. You can see they're almost pretty much the same. Now, both of these phones do an excellent job with gaming performance as well too, if that's something that you are interested in as well. Definitely take that into consideration. It doesn't matter which phone that you get, you're gonna have an awesome gaming experience on both of these phones, which I think is really sweet. Now you do have that dual screen case to take advantage of certain games like PUBG or Asphalt, stuff like that, the ones that are compatible. But yeah, that's definitely a very awesome thing, is that both these phones can pretty much still max out games, no problem. Now here are the Geekbench scores. You can see a higher single core for my Note, but we get a higher multi-core score, and these are both ran on Android 12, which I think is interesting. But all you need to know is essentially the same performance. They're both going to be very, very snappy. One UI does have a bit more features in it than the LG skin on here, but like I said, the V60, it does have that quad DAC functionality on here, the dual screen case. So just remember that. But One UI has a ton of stuff like Samsung desktop support, secure folders, reverse wireless charging, all of that stuff. So it's got a lot of stuff in the hardware that you can mess with, in addition to the stylus software as well. So I do want to go ahead and talk about the additional features here. So like I said, we both have NFC on here, both have IP68. Now the Note has a significantly better fingerprint scanner, and we can also do face unlock on the Note, which we can't do on the V60 as well. The V60's fingerprint scanner is fine, it does work, but it doesn't feel anywhere near as fast as the Note. So that's one thing that, you know, I kind of noticed as well too. So as you guys can see, the sort of like the pros and cons here. I do want to go ahead and show you guys the speaker quality. Let's see which phone has the best speakers here. Go ahead and turn up the Note. So you definitely have a slightly louder sound, slightly louder bass on the V60. They're very close though. Yeah, but I can just feel the table vibrating a little bit harder on the V60 there. So you definitely have slightly better speakers, but they both have some really awesome stereo speakers. So even if you cover the bottom speaker on both of these, the top speaker is gonna do a really great job. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the camera. So this is where the Note 20 Ultra kind of shines. It has a pretty amazing camera system. So it's got a 108 megapixel lens on here, 12 megapixel periscope telephoto lens. It does 5x optical zoom, and this even goes all the way up to the 50 hybrid zoom as well too, which is really nice. You also have your 12 megapixel ultra wide. It can shoot in 8K 24, and then you have a 10 megapixel selfie cam that also shoots in 4K 60. Now the V60, it does have a 64 megapixel standard camera on here. We also have a 13 megapixel ultra wide, 0.3 depth sensor, shoots in 8K 30, 10 megapixel selfie that shoots in 4K 30 as well too. So I'll go ahead and let you guys see these side by side stills. Be sure to let me know which camera do you think looks better. Alright guys, here's the video on the LG V60 2X. Ultra wide. Here's the video on the Galaxy. Here's the 5X. And here's the 0.5. Guys, so battery life on both of these devices are pretty good. The LG V60 has a bigger 5,000 milliamp battery. It does have wireless charging, but no reverse wireless charging. The Note 20 Ultra does have a 4,500 milliamp battery, so it's slightly smaller. Does 25 watt charging with wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. Basically, yes, the V60 is going to have slightly better battery life and, to me, much better standby time as well too. The Note 20 Ultra, it will get you that definitely 6 hours of screen on time, no problem. So both of these are all day, phones for sure. It's just that the V60, I'm noticing that I get, just slightly better screen on time and much better standby time as well too. So these are two very interesting devices here. The Note 20 Ultra does have the stylus. It's got a pretty amazing camera system with great zoom capabilities, a pretty nice screen design on here, as well as the 120 Hertz. The V60 is much cheaper. You also have the headphone jack with the quad DAC, dual screen case. You also have pretty good cameras on both of these as well too. Yeah, so there's a lot to like about both of these phones. It just really comes down to, which additional features do you want? Do you want the 120 Hertz, the camera, the, massive zoom functionality on here, the S Pen, or do you want headphone jack, dual screen case? That's sort of what it comes down to, guys. So be sure to let me know, what do you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.